One thing which I understood that Hari sir would definitely love is the feeling of mountain. We made the building a bit brutal, you can say, a bit harsh. Shuttered debris wall was designed to be inclined and looking like, a mountain to climb. That is how we designed Shikhara. The name itself is again a peak. It means peak in Malayalam. Shikhara was a project that came to us by chance. One common friend introduced me to Mr. Hari sir. Once in a year, he would travel to this unruly landscape of Himalayas, and he would just go there on kind of solo trucks. His house where he was born and raised was also having a small hill at the end of the property. So quite obvious, we both talked and I decided that this will be the place. So this was in Trivandrum in Portugal. Somehow this particular small hill area was barren. This unfortunately was west facing, and as soon as you got on top here, the entire west sun was very heavy on us. So we had to devise a shading mechanism. So one of the first things which we did was to imagine, like even when you were standing on the side, you would always keep your hand like that and then look at the surroundings because it was so hot. What happened is we basically decided to draw one wall to shade whoever is on that mountain top. That first wall was the most prominent wall was what we designed. We were very sure that we had to give a very solid and opaque facade. Incidentally, this was the time we were trying to see how shuttered debris wall technique, which we developed, it's a patent pending technique, which we developed using waste construction debris and mud and wasted materials. The entire wall came slanting like that, as we mentioned earlier, and then it followed with another straight wall, and then it again went back, and then it came to the reservoir. So there was the basement, there was the ground floor, and there was the upper floor on top. So it was a 3-storied shuttered debris wall building. By that time, my fear of acute spaces left. I started to believe in acute spaces because initially I was very afraid, like any conventional architecture student, I was afraid to design acute spaces. But what I found out that as long as you don't create two walls like this to create such a space, even if you create one side wall and then give an opening on this side, the acute space never feels very bad. It feels quite good. It gives you intimacy. You feel more intimate in such corners. That wall will be not just inclined in elevation, but also inclined in plan. So I took it just opposite. I took it opposite and then took it like this. So the plan is actually two triangles meeting. The entire entry is into again a small courtyard, and then there is a exit towards the down part. And this wall would come back and then go again as a part of the same wall. And I had, to my knowledge, kitchen, and then I made the staircase so that we can go up. So it was like two triangles meeting each other kind of plan. So once you reach the wall on top, you kind of cross over, and this is your bedroom. We generally avoid a west entry to any house. Whatever you are seeing, we will not keep the entry there. We'll take it all the way to the back. So the cars can come to the back, pedestrians can walk to the back, which is quite interesting. So there is a basement level car parking, and from there also you can walk up to the entrance through the behind. And behind part because it is kind of cordoned off on all sides, we are given a very, just a screen. We didn't give a typical like a door or nothing. We just have a mesh door. And opening the mesh door, you just walk into the drawing room, which has again a small triangular courtyard depicting the light. After this drawing room, it goes into two areas. Towards the left, it is the master bedroom, which again receives both western light and western ventilation, western breeze. And then towards the right, you go towards the dining and the kitchen. At least 6-7 years before Shikhara was started, we had developed shuttered debris wall technique. And soil in Kerala is often gravelly. You find a lot of stones in it, and sieving them off means you are wasting a lot of wonderful raw earth. And dry earth construction, that is CSCB or rammed earth, means in a tropical place like Kerala, which has a lot of rain, this becomes very difficult. We needed to find a super easy way to make these mud walls as well as incorporate some waste into it. We faced such a dilemma in one of our previous construction where the client's plot was filled with debris from the neighbors. I mean, like, it was a very sad state. We saw that the entire place was filled with debris because others finished their construction. My client didn't start construction, and they said, "Acha, can we put some small waste which has come up?" And you know what happens? Corporation will never take away construction or non-biodegradable debris. So our shuttered debris wall included putting a wet mix of raw earth, sieved and unsieved earth, 5 to 8% cement depending on conditions, and using some of this wasted debris. It can be ceramic to anything, That wall technology, we wanted to explore it in multi-levels. It is in that area where we happen to have a double-storied height, so we could squeeze in a staircase. We took aluminium corrugated sheet, and aluminium, it's called a quaint sheet, which is almost like a mesh. It has so many holes in it. That aluminium mesh was folded in a zigzag pattern to form our staircase towards the attic top portion, because the inclined west wall means it goes through 3 floors. So the rest of the places we took it very lightly, very simple. It was just mesh. The aluminium mesh actually is very light. Even if you have a magazine, you try to keep it straight, it will fall down. But if you curve the magazine and keep, so what we did is we slowly started to curve the aluminium mesh. Curve gets increasing, and that came in an inclined fashion, so that became a staircase. It became more rigid. I thought Hari sir would really like the fact that there are these isolated spaces, because any person who goes forward to always goes for trekking and mountains and all those things love their solitude and what nature has for them. That prompted me to give a terrace which is kind of bent to get into the terrace, kind of unapproachable. The lady with the tea or somebody coming with the tea wouldn't directly barge into that space. Small experiment which we tried, and thankfully it worked. The elder son loves that place, Gautam. So the ground floor, as I mentioned, from the living room there is a left taking, one bedroom is there, and the attic is again another bedroom. My client Hari really loved the project and he moved in with his family, but unfortunately he met his demise 1.5 years ago exactly, and that actually brought an end to my dreams of seeing a wonderful client living inside there. But his elder son is living there. I hope he is having a gala time inside the building. So shuttered debris wall, Shikhara in some sense was something where we kind of achieved that particular target, and it went out smoothly than expected, to be honest. Very often we do not have a clarity about the spaces we make. More wonders and surprises come while making it. So So that is the learning in Shigara.